Hi folks, today I'm doing a video on a SIG 320 on how to build a freehand pattern. Process I like to do is I break out my square and I always do some basic measurements. I know you can look them up, but I just like to see what I'm doing. Now, I know the first measurement I'm seeing that this gun is around basically almost a 7 1/8 on its length. Then I always like to know from its side height. I do my best to line up the side height. So I'm at 1 15/16. I put SH out here because I know what I'm doing. And then I try to get slide it forward, slide it up, get a good look at it. And I'm running right at 1 inch on the width. Now I won't need the pistol for a little while, so I'll set it to the side. And as always, beforehand, I made sure it was safe. The action was clear and it was ready to be handled. Now I will sharpen up my tool a little bit. Now you can do this on 9x11, but since I got cardstock and 12-inch square, it's easier for me. I make it a little 12x12 piece. Now everybody's a little different, but since this is a full size, I'm going to set up in here and square. I'm going to come out, I'm going to mark right at 4 inches. Now I'm going to set my square. That's my ability. Whoops. I'm going to mark 4 inches. Now, gun was 1 inch. Now, for me to track, it's easier to get my marks. I switch over to millimeters, which we know we're going to be around 26. I know that I'm dealing with 910 leather, since that's what I'm going to be using. So I come out here and I'll mark 3 centimeters, 30 millimeters. From the top of my line. That's why I like using a clear, because my marks are even. I can mark on the 0 and the 12. I go, and then I like to make my center line. Since I'm splitting the difference, it's 15. And I'm one of these, like an old carpenter. Start over here. I set to my pencil. Now this is my baseline or my build line. My center. And this is the front line. Now that I've got those marked, and as I said before, every time you grab the weapon, check it, make sure, because you're going to be a little bit pointing at yourself. Now, come to the edge. Now you're going to be doing a little eyeballing. And all you got to do is everything will quit moving, is eyeball to the front, give it a little rough trace right here. Always mark your front sight, or your rear sight, I'm sorry. Now I switch, always mark the groove. Now when you get to the 1911 Picatinny, I've found if you angle, you draw a straighter line, and then always do your best and try to reach under and try to find your mag release control. Then flip around and look at it. It's a little triangle, so we know we're doing this. And now you know the shape of your control. You've got that cleared. Okay, now, if you don't have a circle gauge, I'd recommend everybody purchase one. They come in real handy. Now, what we want to track to is the best we can towards the center line. And it looks like we're going to end up going to the 6580. And the replacement's going to be right around here, because and then what I like to do is like switch to metric again. And I'm at 37. So I come down here, make me a 37 little mark. And now I know I'm coming down here. And then I'm going to, that's about as far as you gotta go with it. And of course, this is all freehand, so this is the great thing about it. You start bringing this in. And I always like to Now, these are rough, but now once you get it set, I usually like to go about 2 millimeters or 2 centimeters, pardon me, down through here to give me plenty of room for my fold, and then have to have some good sewing area. Then you're going to get into this no man's land to where your circles gauge will come back into effect. And like I said, you can look at this and say, okay, now I see my problem. Let's correct it. Now let's find the perfect circle to drop it down on. Doesn't matter if you overlap your lines a little bit because you're building, and then you got to kind of match what you're wanting to accomplish. I always like to have a little tuck at the bottom, just so it has a little bit of a more cleaner, neater look. Now, with everything, we switch it out. We'll come to our cutting tool. As always, I say this is the rough cut. This is not your final pattern. This is what you're going to start with. This is your shape pattern. Your final pattern will be the one that you trace from your leather once you've finished and fitted to the gun and you're ready to die. And that's going to be the one that you say, okay, all my holes are done. I'm ready to die it, assemble it, and I'm basically done other than my stitching pattern. Me personally, I do not punch stitching patterns in anything until after I've dyed and I've antiqued. Don't fight me here. Because I want to limit my transferred contaminants to my string. And my irons and my Diamondol is my friend. it will clean the holes along with my groover to allow me to stitch a clean pattern, and my thread will not be contaminated. Now, back around here, grab our clear, since we know this is our fold. Now, I like to leave a little loose at the bottom from the line, because what I'm looking for is to get this perfectly aligned. Then I work, because that tells me I've got my pattern straight. Now, I'm not worried about anything up here. All I'm worried about is right here. Okay. Now we know our sights are here, so we've got to get a little long. Now, with anything, you never want a straight corner, because that's an opportunity for the leather to tear. So now, I'm coming back in with my angle gauge. Once I get it to where I've got it properly spaced, putting my arches in. This is going to look good. And now, my knife skills are up to it today. There's your fit. There's your pattern. And that's all we say. Check, make sure it's empty. Now, advice, this area here, run masking tape over, because you're going to come back here Come back here. Fold line. You're going to check it for fit. You're going to look at all your controls. I'm going to do some work here. Let's clean that line out. As you can see, because I'm touching. Nothing worse than popping your mag out. So there is some cleanup to do on your mag. Plus you're going to leave the sight path. Now if you don't want the wrap, we're going to flip it back over. We can say, okay, I don't like that. Let's go here. Okay, we're gonna come back down and just put a little feeder into it. So then sit down here. See, that's I need to shift. You want to tape it. Stop all this silliness from happening. Now that we kind of get it built, make it a little stiffer. Well, for your line, there we go. You're going to have some gap, but because of your sight path up front, but that would be your rough pattern to cut your leather out on. And then once you start with your rough pattern, place your sight groove stick on there, tape it in place, and fit your leather to the gun. Hope that helps. Thank you.